What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today's October 1st, 2019. And when you go to Google today, you'll see a Google Doodle celebrating the life of Dr. Herbert Kleber, who was a substance abuse researcher and a psychiatrist. Google never does a Google Doodle without making sure that there's some pretty interesting numerology behind the date. And in this video, I'm going to explore a little bit about how that works with Dr. Kleber. Now, when we're talking about numerology, we cannot get a full picture until we also look at the language of Gematria, which is the ancient occultic belief that the letter and the number are merged together. And this is such an important belief that the Bible begins with God speaking the world into existence. And these basic numeric systems, numbering the alphabet 1 through 26, and using the rules of numerology, also called Pythagorean gematria, to achieve our reduction ciphers. So there you see we add the double-digit numbers together until we arrive at a single digit. And when you begin paying attention to this language, you see that something very fishy is going on. And I don't think there's any doubt that the people running our mainstream media and our large internet search engines are well aware of this code. So we'll start by taking the full name gematria of Herbert Kleber, whose full name is Herbert David Kleber. There's a few things that stick out about this, but we'll start with the value in reverse reduction, 110. Think about today's date, the 1st of October, written 1/10 in most parts of the world. Another significant cipher I've been teaching, especially lately, is this one called Frank Baconus. Some people call this the classroom cipher, a very logical one that mixes in capital letters with small letters. And notice how the date October 1st has a value of 299, which is the same as Dr. Herbert Kleber in the same method. So as we almost always see, multiple connections through his name to the date. But the riddles always run much deeper than that. Herbert Kleber was born on June 19th of 1934. Meaning that on today's date, he would be exactly 4,450 weeks old. And this is always what you're looking for. A number with maybe a couple zeros at the end of it, something that gives you something very solid. So here, since this is a study of numerology, we're ignoring the zeros and just leaving it at 445, which is a significant number to this code that this occult uses to stamp these rituals. If you go to Google Translate and type in full lunar eclipse, you get this phrase, which directly translates as full moon eclipse. However, if you spend a little time with Hebrew, and particularly the Hebrew Wikipedia page for lunar eclipses, you do see that this phrase denotes a full lunar eclipse. In Hebrew Gematria, remember, the Old Testament originally in Hebrew, so this language is extremely important to the code. And in Hebrew Gematria, the phrase total lunar eclipse has a value of 445. The name Herbert David Kleber has an ordinal value of 169. And in one of our mathematical forms of Gematria called trigonal, the phrase total lunar eclipse has this value of 1690. This is the alphabetic order using triangular numbers and is indeed one of the base 10 ciphers from the Hebrew language. Also, the name Herbert Kleber in reverse equals 222, which is the English extended value of the word eclipse. English Gematria, structured similarly to the Hebrew Gematria chart that we just looked at, where the numbers are expanded instead of reduced. So when we're talking about eclipses, it's very difficult to ignore the number 108. Now, this language of gematria is geometry within the language, and the word geometry, whether you use the standard alphabetic order or the reverse order where Z is 1 and A is 26, the word geometry equals 108 in both methods. The phrase full moon also has this property, 108, in both methods. And we're taught that the moon is 108 times its own diameter from the Earth. So is the sun. On top of that, the sun is also 108 times the Earth's diameter. So this is a really significant number to astronomy. Well, if you look at Herbert Kleber's Wikipedia page, you find out that he passed away from a heart attack while vacationing in 2018. Using the standard alphabetic order, heart attack equals 108. If you measure from his birthday in the year 2018 to the date October 5th when he died, you find he died 108 days later. But it gets even more interesting. If you measure from his October 5th date of death to the next total lunar eclipse, which, as we explored, he has many matches with in Gematria, why am I getting no results with total lunar eclipses? Well, okay, here we go. The next total lunar eclipse after his death was on January 21st of 2019, which was 108 days after he died. Now, if you measure from that same total lunar eclipse to the date of today's Google Doodle, you get 36 weeks in one day. Why does this stand out? Well, if you measure from the Google Doodle to the date he died, it's 361 days. Now, keep in mind that the number 361 is 19 squared, which stands out because the name Kleber equals 109 in reverse ordinal. And think about it. If you include the end date, this means he died exactly 109 days before the next total lunar eclipse. And it would have also been exactly a span of 109 days after his birthday. So the riddle takes both of these numbers into account, the 108, the 109. It all weaves it together seamlessly. And, of course, the number 19, significant to the moon, because the moon's metonic cycle is exactly 19 years in length. A couple more interesting things about the date this man died. Using the reversed alphabetic order, psychiatrist Herbert Kleber has a value of 379. Now, if you measure from his date of birth in 1934 to the date he died, he was 30,790 days old with the end date, just like psychiatrist Herbert Kleber, 379. Also, the date he died, check out the numerology. 53 primary, 26 is the life lesson number. The name Kleber equals 53 ordinal and 26 in reduction. So this is how it works. Every time Google has a fancy Google Doodle, it's in tribute to the numerology of the death and the date on which the doodle is being applied. All right, guys, thanks again for jumping in. Peace, love, God bless. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. All my work is free to share, and everyone is, in fact, encouraged to do so. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Adios.